Hey, yeah, this is Larry Yeager Cycle, and I thought maybe being it's springtime and we're getting ready to get our motorcycles ready to go for some summertime rides, or I hope you are anyway. I thought maybe I'd show you a few of our maintenance items that I kind of use myself when I do my own services, and I found that it is very helpful. Most of the stuff is all product that Harley Davidson offers and Harley Davidson sells. It's specific to their brand of motorcycle. Or I guess some of it is, not all of it, but some of it is. But anyway, so a couple little things. One of the neatest things that I've been using lately is this oil drain pan right here. So kind of a cool thing about it is it's low profile. So if you don't have a motorcycle stand to put your bike up on, it's, you know, Harleys are awful low to the ground, yet this thing is low enough it slides right underneath the bike, no problem. It's wide enough that it will reach the transmission, the primary, and the motor oil drain all in one time, so you can take all three of those out. A couple little things that's kind of cool about it is if you take this plug out, it just screws out. That is where the oil, as it runs down the pan, will drain down in the inside of it. This right here is a vent, so you want to take this vent out so that the oil will drain down in there properly. And believe me, you want to take it completely out. Don't just loosen it, take it completely out. And then the oil will just drain right down in there. It is, I believe, a 6 quart capacity, so it holds a pretty good capacity, enough that you can drain all 3 compartments on a Harley Davidson motorcycle, and it'll hold all that. It also has little spots right here that you can put your drain plugs. So when you take your drain plugs out, you can wipe them off, install new O-rings on the drain plugs and set them right in there, and the oil that comes off of those will just drain right down through here, so that's kind of handy. Anyway, it's a neat little tool that I found that works really well. Then, when you're done with it, you can put your plugs back in it, and it's got a handle on top, so you can just carry it to your local oil recycling spot and take the cap off and drain the oil out of it. Works really, really well. A couple other little pieces we got. So Harley Davidsons anymore all have a screw-on external oil filter. We got oil filter wrenches that are specific for each model. This one oil filter wrench here will fit most all Harleys. Not all, but most all. It's got a little cutout right here that is for the crank position sensor, so it can slip in beside that, and it just goes right on the end of the oil filter right there, right on the hex part of it. You'll want to take yourself a ratchet with an extension like this and just stick that on there, and you can loosen him right up. Just spin it right off of there, and same when you install. So that's a neat, inexpensive little tool there, just a round oil filter wrench like that. Another thing that they have is anybody that's done their own services, they'll find that when they take the oil filter off, it drains oil right down on the motor, down into, if you got a touring model, it gets it down into the oil cooler, and it just kind of makes a mess. They make this item here that's an oil filter drain funnel. So this slides actually underneath of the filter, and as you remove the filter, it will drain the oil out through here and then down this and then into your pan. And that's a pretty neat little tool. Now these are specific to certain models. So they got year brakes and they got model brakes to where these fit properly to get them all the way up underneath the oil filter. So that's a nice little item. Another thing we have is when you drain your primary oil, we've got, and then you refill it, we've got this filler funnel right here. It's just a neat little round half moon filter that slides right in there just like that, which enables you to pour the oil right into the primary real easy. You know, if you've done that, you found yourself that there's just about a 1/4 inch gap there is about all there is to pour the oil in. So, and most of them take 1 quart. So you set that little guy right down in there and you just pour the oil right in there, and it works really, really well. And as you can see here, I didn't take my derby cover all the way off. I take 4 of the 5 screws out, I spin it around at the top, just give it a little bit of a cinch, and it holds it right there in place, so you don't have to worry about setting it off of there and it getting scuffed or scratched or anything, and that works really good for what I do. Another thing is, so this is a fill funnel for the motor oil and the transmission. So A lot of the Harleys, the oil transmission fill is a small hole, and it's kind of tucked back in on the transmission. Same with the motor oil fill, it's tucked back in there. And this is kind of a long reach filter that's got a small fill hole, so you can get it in both of them holes real easy. I believe the transmission fill is just a 1/2 inch hole, so it's not very large. And it's got to be a pretty fine filter to get in that and to reach that hole. Same with the motor oil fill, and this funnel works really well for those two applications. We also sell these. We use these all the time. I constantly use one. It's just a little needle luber, so it's a small. Pull this cap off here. It's just a small needle like that, just kind of like what you'd air up a basketball with or a volleyball or something. And there's oil in this tube. And you just put it into a pivot point. For instance, your footboard pivots right here, and you just squeeze it, and it will lubricate the pivot point. Works good for that. It works good for these shift shaft ball joints right there. You just slip it in the boot and give it a squeeze, and it just drops a little bit of oil in there. It's real small and real fine, and those things are cheap and they really work well. Another thing is that people don't do, they need to do pretty often, is replace their security fob batteries. Harley Davidson recommends once a year. People forget about it and they don't do it. We get a call, I wouldn't say a call a day, we get a few calls a week, I promise you, with people saying, hey, the motorcycle will not start, the signals are flashing, but it will not start. And it is always the security fob batteries have gone dead. So, you know, for $4, you can replace this battery once a year in the fobs. Just bring your fob in, we'll change them out for you, and it's just a good security. You don't have to mess with it then. And then we also now are offering an oil change kit. So right there in this box here is a synthetic Syn 3 oil change kit. They come with the proper amount of oil for the proper application, the filter, drain plug O-rings. It's got everything in there. You just grab one box and go. So we've got them with chrome filters, we got them with black filters, we got them with synthetic oil, and we got them with the standard petroleum-based oil, Harley Davidson 20W50. So we've got all 4 of those in stock. So yeah, you know, this stuff here is handy, and it's be usable this time of year. And if we can help you with any of that, or you got any questions, I hope these tips help. Thank you.